Tonight on Newscenter, the Star Wars galaxy invades the bookstore. Find out what it takes to join the Cal U marching band, and the Vulcans look to tackle a PSAC West foe. All these stories and more next on Newscenter.
Good evening and welcome to Cutv Newscenter for the week of October 8th, 2015. I'm Zach Prosba.
And I'm Jennifer Germano.
Last Friday night, Cutv continued its long partnership with PCN as we broadcast Washington High and Mount Pleasant High as part of PCN's Game of the Week for high school football. Now, take a look behind the scenes of a live shoot going out to millions of homes in the state.
This past Friday night, the crew of Cutv teamed up with PCN for the 16th straight season to provide live, statewide coverage of Washington at Mount Pleasant. I interviewed Brian McCarty, the Pittsburgh Bureau Chief of PCN.
Tonight, PCN is doing one of our broadcasts of what we call Game of the Week, where you bring high school football from across the state to a statewide audience. PCN goes into about 3 million homes statewide, and so this is our chance to actually showcase the football talent across the state to the homes of Pennsylvania.
Now let's take a behind-the-scenes look with Cutv President Zach Prosba and crew members Mike Mays, Christina Haslett, and Ricky Safer as they make their way up to the two camera locations at the top of the stadium. This is the view Gary Smith, the producer and director of Cutv, has of the big board inside the truck.
2nd and 9.
Damon Matson was on the call for the game last Friday night, and this is what he had to say about his first time on live TV.
It's pretty exciting. I've never been on live TV before. I've done quite a few shoots with Cutv, but knowing the fact that my family and friends are going to be watching tonight is really exciting, and it's a big game to cover too, so that also makes it even better.
Anything you're nervous about?
It's a little nerve-wracking being on live TV knowing that, but I'm just going to treat it like a normal shoot and try to just do my best and call the game the way it's going.
I leave you now with one final look from behind the scenes. For Cutv News Center, I'm Ryan Collins.
Cal U recently hosted the Just Around the River Bend Conference, focusing on the importance of water to the region. One of the guests at the conference was Mark Henshaw, former Cal U student and professor. I was able to talk with Professor Henshaw on his involvement with the show Diggers on National Geographic and how it uses his advanced skills in archaeology.
The show Diggers is about two metal detectorists who travel across the United States looking for artifacts that are, of course, primarily metal because they metal detect, and that help tell a story about some theme or some part of history. It's a fun show because it doesn't take metal detecting or history really too seriously, and it's really targeted towards young adults, young kids. I was asked to get involved in 2013, 2014, because they needed someone with an advanced degree and someone who could really hold the program to the task of staying within the archaeological laws and the archaeological techniques. I'm the production archaeologist on TV. My job is to be able to quickly identify artifacts, map, tag, clean, and display the artifacts in an orderly fashion so that we can use them on the show. I hope that people who are into metal detecting will view the show and they'll say, look, let's take some better notes or records. Let's GPS our finds. Maybe even fill out a site form so that the state knows that a site is there. We really want to bring in the archaeological and metal detector communities. We really want to work together so that we can identify sites.
If you have been seeing signs in the bookstore windows recently that tease the landing of the Millennium Falcon, then prepare for the best merchandise you'll find in the galaxy. The Cal U bookstore has released specialty merchandise with characters from the epic fantasy series Star Wars. To get a look at the new selections, I spoke with Greg Carafa, Cal U's bookstore manager. As a special treat to the Cal U bookstore, merchandise from a galaxy far, far away has landed here at Cal U as part of a process with other state schools in Pennsylvania.
Well, no, there are other schools that are involved with this as well. It's an event that happens every year to promote Star Wars. And this year, we have a hire company, Follett, and they're the ones that puts this together for us. And they go through all the licensing and trademark stuff that they have to do with Disney and Lucasfilms. So.
Now, this merchandise may not last for long as it is on a first-come, first-served basis, so make sure you're able to pick yours up. Next week, California University's bookstore will be holding a special event commemorating the release of all this merchandise with prizes and activities for students and the community.
For the month of October, the Cal U Volunteer Services Center will be holding a Helping Hands October event. Dubbed H2L, while some events have passed already, there are plenty of opportunities remaining for you to get involved and help others. Check the schedule of events on the Cal U website by searching Helping Hands October. If you have any other questions, email volunteer@calu.edu.
After being banned by the NCAA, DraftKings and FanDuel are now facing further scrutiny after claims of insider trading between both companies. This info was found after one employee for DraftKings won over $350,000 from FanDuel after receiving info from an employee of FanDuel about how to better his chances of winning. Both companies have come out and banned employees from playing daily fantasy games, with possible further punishment looming after investigations conclude. One of the more popular fast food chains will now be expanding their time window for the most important meal of the day. McDonald's will now sell breakfast all day long after rival Burger King started this in the summer. Beware, though, as not all items are available during the day, and some locations will have restrictions on the items.
When it comes to the Harvard University debate team, you would assume excellence. After winning the national title of debate teams, Harvard was then given a chance to take on a group of prisoners in a local prison, and lost. Now, this was no surprising loss, as the prisoners were some of the smartest inmates in the facility and were able to take down the Harvard students with their own smarts. To find out the latest news on campus and everywhere else, make sure you pick up a copy of the Cal Times when it is released every Friday around campus. To preview what is coming up in this week's edition, we sat down with Jose Negron, editor-in-chief of the Cal Times.
Hey Cal U, this is Jose Negron, editor-in-chief of the Cal Times. We have a lot of great stuff in this week's publication for you. In news, we have a feature on Steve-O following an exclusive interview we had with him before his show last week. In opinion, we have a small piece on John Boehner's resignation and the impact that will have. And in sports, we have Morgan Heigl featured as our Athlete of the Week. Be sure to pick up a copy of the Cal Times around campus and check us out at caltimes.org.
And so, Jen, I mentioned before that McDonald's was going to an all-day breakfast. I think you and I both agree, being from Georgia, the one place we want all-day breakfast as Chick-fil-A. When's it going to happen? Please. I want my chicken minis all day long.
That's my favorite thing. I love getting the biscuits and gravy, and my favorite of all time there are the little tater tots. They're so good. They have such good flavoring, and they're perfectly crispy. I just want to eat them anytime that I want, all day long.
And the one thing I'll say about the McDonald's thing is that they're not even letting hash browns be available all day long. That's the only thing I get there. So what's the point in me, as a customer for McDonald's, to have breakfast all day long if I don't get anything you have?
Not as good.
Oh, well. Coming up after the break, Damon Masson has your weather forecast. Stay tuned.
The time is now, the place is here. Stop running, face your fear. When it all comes down to this, you only get one shot, can't afford to miss. The time is now, the place is here. Stop running, face your fear. When it all comes down to this, you only get one shot, can't afford to miss. So, let's get it, let's go. Go hard and go home.
Save preset 1 for Cal U's best music. More music in the car. More music in the door. More music everywhere. This is 91.9 WCAL Power 92. The home of the Vulcan Nation. Playing Cal U's best music. 91.9 WCAL. WCAL Power 92.
welcome back to Newscenter. Now joined by student meteorologist Damon Matson. Damon, go ahead and take it away with the upcoming 5-day forecast.
Yeah, after the cold and rainy weekend we saw last weekend, it has warmed up this week and everybody's been enjoying it, but we're going to see the rain come back tomorrow. It's going to be around 72, a lot of showers and thunderstorms, but over the weekend it should become sunny once again, and temperatures are going to warm up into the low 70s, possibly even into the mid 70s by early next week, but the clouds and the cooler temperatures back into the 60s should be around by Tuesday. And guys, I'm sure everybody's actually really enjoying this last little dose of warm weather. We are getting into October now, so I'm sure everybody's trying to get out and enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely for me, it's like I look at the weather forecast every morning and see, what do I need to wear? And it's like I've been wearing jeans preparing for at night, but during the day, it's like I'm burning up because it's getting a little bit warmer. I like the warm weather, but I'm kind of glad it's getting towards the cold so I can at least be consistent. I don't have to find clothes every day to wear.
Right.
Because I know I do the exact same thing, but today I dressed for the warmer part of the weather today. And I know I'm going to regret that later tonight after work because I'm going to be freezing. So I can't wait till when it starts getting cooler and I can just get in a comfy sweater. I'm good with that.
Right. Everybody enjoys that when it gets cold, absolutely.
And Damon, before we go, of course, we're all Pirates fans here, and today was National Pierogi Day. And even though the Pirates unfortunately were eliminated last night, we won't say much more because our feelings are still hurt. The Pittsburgh Pierogis were here today visiting on National Pierogi Day. I know we all enjoy the Pirates, especially the pierogi race. It's probably the best part of the ball game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is enjoyable, and I know I love pierogies myself. I am mostly Polish, actually. My family's mostly Polish, and I enjoy the pierogies with little bacon bits inside of them, honestly. Those are probably some of the best pierogies to eat, even just the regular cheese ones. And my mom makes homemade pierogies as well, and you can't beat that any day. Can't beat it.
I just had pierogies for the first time, I think, last year, and I love the cheese pierogies. So, yeah, they're definitely one of my new favorite things.
I'm glad you guys got to try them out.
And sadly, I don't like them, but oh well.
Only his loss. Thanks, Damon. When we come back, Ryan Kaufman takes over the entertainment report. Stay tuned.
Catch all the excitement under the Friday night lights with CUTV's High School Football Game of the Week. You have the best seats in the house as the area's longest-running high school football telecast, now in its 29th season, brings you the area's biggest games. Don't forget to watch the replay on CUTV, Sundays at 8 and Thursdays at 5:30. Since 1937, the Student Association Incorporated, known as SAI, has served the Cal U student body by providing activities, programs, and services. Every enrolled student has the ability to take part in over 125 different clubs and organizations. Managing participation in every SAI activity is easy with OrgSync, a powerful tool for staying connected. Located 1 mile from campus, the SAI Farm has 94 acres of meeting and recreational space. SAI, it's your student association.
Welcome back to CUTV News Center. I'm Ryan Kaufman. Are you aware that there are 100 plus clubs and organizations on campus? Feature reporter Anthony D'Agostino shines a spotlight on his feature organization for this week.
This is Anthony D'Agostino reporting for CUTV. Over the course of the semester, I'll be taking you on a guided tour of the different clubs and organizations you can be a part of here at Cal U. This week, I had the pleasure of visiting the Cal U Marching Band. I spoke to Shane Irvine, Cal U Band Graduate Assistant, about what the Cal U Marching Band does.
All right, so the Cal U Marching Band is about a 110-member organization, one of the largest organizations at California University. And what we do is we play for all the home football games, and we go to select a few away games, as well as go to high school band festivals in the area just to show support for the music programs and the arts. And we also make a trip out to Allentown once a year and represent our university with all the other collegiate bands in the area.
Shane also explains why students should join marching band.
An incredible experience, and if you did marching band in high school, it's not high school. We're here to entertain, and it is very exciting to be in the marching band. We are one of the largest sections, if not the largest section, for some of the football games, supporting our Vulcans. But it's just a great organization, great people to be around, and we have a lot of fun.
Lastly, Shane explains how easy it is to join the marching band.
All right, so if you want to join the marching band, you can stop by Gallagher, any of the rooms on the second floor. and talk to either the director or one of the other graduate assistants. Or you can go on OrgSync, and there is a form that you can actually fill out, and it says, begin form or join California University Marching Band. So you can find us out through OrgSync, or just search us on the web, and we have our own website too.
The CalU Marching Band practices every Wednesday and Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. on the parking lot at Adamson Stadium. That's all for this week. If you would like your club or organization to be highlighted on CUTV Newscenter, be sure to tweet us at CUTV_PA and make sure to leave the appropriate contact information. For CUTV Newscenter, I'm Anthony D'Agostino.
Homecoming is just 2 short weeks away, beginning on the 19th. The festivities begin with bingo for cash at 9 p.m. in the food court. Homecoming week will end on the 24th with a parade and a football game against Clarion. Also, be aware that 3rd Street will be closed at 7 p.m. the day of the parade. The CalU Cupboard is hosting a food drive for the students and faculty on campus. Food can be delivered for personal donations to the Center for Volunteer Programs and Service Learning in the Natali Student Center, room 119. Other donations can be delivered to your department office. Please ensure that your name is on your donations in order to receive credit for this event. Every once in a while, a political figure or celebrity will say or do something that makes you stop and think to yourself, did I just hear that correctly? As the entertainment anchor, it is my job to bring these, shall we say, bizarre actions to light. Let's begin with Selena Gomez's tough new news. She has revealed in an interview with Billboard magazine her reason for being away from the music world for so long. It was because she was diagnosed with lupus and was receiving chemotherapy. Lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease that can damage any part of the body, skin, joints, and organs inside the body. Chronic means that the signs and symptoms tend to last longer than 6 weeks and often for many years. Basically, this is a bad disease that makes the body attack itself. Tom Hanks recently found a student ID in a park near Fordham University and took to Twitter to try to return it. It took some time, but Lauren, the student with the lost ID, finally got her card back and with a special note from Tom himself. The note read, "Make sure you hold on to this." Lauren said she didn't believe the post at first, but finally realized it wasn't a hoax. The Jackass star Steve-O has made his way back into my entertainment report for another week, but not for a good reason. He climbed atop a crane at the California SeaWorld in protest of the park. He lowered an inflatable whale from the crane, set off a firework, and not to mention, induced panic. Steve has been sentenced to 30 days in jail for his stunt. Taylor Swift told NME magazine that she has learned a lesson from her feud with Nicki Minaj from this past summer. What is it, you ask? To always pick up the phone and text whomever she has a misunderstanding with to sort through things. To refresh our memory, Nicki took to Twitter to express her anger about not being nominated for an award that only Taylor Swift and Beyonce were up for. Taylor took this as an insult and struck back on Twitter. A few tense tweets later, and the two were back on stage together at the VMAs. Swift also revealed in the interview that her and Kanye West no longer have bad blood, after he interrupted her at the VMAs a few years ago. And to round out the entertainment report for this week, we have Terminator Genesis in the Vulcan Theater. When John Connor, leader of the Human Resistance, sends Sergeant Kyle Reese back to 1984 to protect Sarah Connor and safeguard the future, an unexpected turn of events creates a fractured timeline. Now, Sergeant Reese finds himself in a new and unfamiliar version of the past, where he is faced with unlikely allies, including the Guardian, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, dangerous new enemies, and an unexpected new mission to reset the future. Rotten Tomatoes has given this movie a 26% satisfaction rate, and 60% of the audience found this movie enjoyable. And guys, a little bit of a pet peeve of mine with the Taylor Swift story. Don't just text someone to figure out something, call. And I have a pet peeve, I have a bone to pick with you on this one, because you did this to me last night.
Yeah, short story. Basically, Ryan called me at 11 o'clock last night, and I'm thinking, okay, I'll answer it. I go to swipe to answer the phone, and it says missed call. So then I text you immediately. So at least I was courteous enough to text you immediately afterwards.
Still text.
Be happy I did that. I could have just ignored you and left you to boil in your turmoil.
That wouldn't have been good.
Not at all.
Well, aside from that type of situation, I agree. If you have like a major issue with somebody or something that needs to get taken care of immediately, you really need to call them, because otherwise they don't know the tone of your voice. They don't know what you're really trying to say if you're saying it through a text.
Right.
But if it's something that's just like flippant and could be disregarded, then it can be said in a text.
Exactly.
Thanks.
Emoticons are my secret weapon for that, though. So, anyways, when we return, Matt Hagee has your sports report. Stay tuned.
Watch CUTV online anytime, anywhere. Check out your favorite original programs, coverage of the biggest events on campus, and cheer on your Vulcan sports teams. CUTV. Log on. Tune in now. Visit cutv.calu.edu/live.
The time is now, the place is here. Stop running, face your fear. When it all come down to this, you only get one shot, can't afford to miss. The time is now, the place is here. Stop running, face your fear. When it all come down to this, you only get one shot, can't afford to miss. So, let's get it, let's go. Go hard and go home.
Welcome back to CUTV News Center. I'm Matt Hagee with your sports report. Adamson Stadium was the place to be last Saturday as the California Vulcans football team welcomed in local rival Seton Hill for a contest. The Griffins had never defeated the Vulcans in 3 previous tries, but this year they have the most overall talent in team history. What ensued would be an epic game. And let's go to the highlights here from Adamson Stadium on a very cold day. William Brazil got the scoring started for California with it, giving them a 3-0 lead in the first quarter. But after that, it was all Griffins in the first half. See, Christian Strong, he had a lot of passing attempts. This one went for a 24-yard touchdown to Eric Brown to make it 7-3 Seton Hill in the first quarter. Now let's go to the second quarter. Seton Hill kept scoring. Khalil Howard from a yard out on 2nd and goal gave Seton Hill a 14-3 lead. And Seton Hill once more before halftime. This was Norman Darden in for the touchdown, 21-3 Seton Hill. But California, they weren't done yet. This is more accustomed to what we're seeing with the Vulcans. James Harris, beautiful pass to Kawan Scott for the touchdown to make it 21-10. Now, Jester Boulevard for Seton Hill put the Griffins up 24-10 in the third quarter. And California on the next drive right here, James Harris finds Derek Fiore on 3rd down. Derek Fiore goes in the end zone for his first touchdown of the season to make it a 1-score game. Now back comes Seton Hill. Christian Strong goes downfield. Wide open is Ardell Brown. He goes into the end zone. No one around him. And Seton Hill goes up 31-17. Now California. Here they come again. James Harris. Look at his pass to Kawan Scott. Beautiful. 31-24 California. This game was a shootout in the second half. Now Jester Boulevard for Seton Hill gets the field goal here to kick off the fourth quarter. Make it 34-24. And then John Franklin for California gets in the end zone here for 1 yard out. He scored in every game this season so far for the Vulcans. That's 8 on the season. Leads the PSAC. Vulcans down by 3. Now here, 4th and 1. James Harris finds Gary Brown, and look out, folks. What can Brown do for you? He can give you a go-ahead touchdown. Gary Brown in the end zone, 38-34 California late in the fourth quarter. Now, California had a chance to put this game away here, but Seton Hill gets the interception here and almost runs it back. The defender stepped out of bounds, but they still had a chance late to take the lead and win the game. But Christian Strong looks for his receiver and finds Isaiah Scott for the Vulcans. Instead, for the 3rd straight week, California gets a clutch interception to win the game, and the Vulcans somehow, someway pull an improbable comeback win over the 38-34 over the Griffins. Jimmy Wheeler had his first career 100-yard rushing performance as a Vulcan, and John Franklin had another decent day on the ground, including that one score. Kawan Scott had his best game of the season with 142 yards receiving for 2 touchdowns, and who could forget the man who sparked the comeback with his arm, James Harris. 4 second-half touchdowns and 309 yards passing overall. Now the Vulcans hit the road to face off against longtime rival Slippery Rock at 2 o'clock this Saturday. If you cannot make the trip, the game will be broadcasted live on WCAL 91.9, and CUTV will have the rebroadcast of the game, as always, on Monday at 6 and Tuesday at 4. Every time Cal faces off against Slippery Rock, there's always something on the line, whether it be a division title, A playoff berth? Or simply bragging rights? The Cal-Slippery Rock rivalry is as good as it gets in the PSAC. And here's a look back at the rivalry. You know the names.
Cal U, Slippery Rock.
You know the legends.
Open, looking, fire in the end zone, touchdown! Brandon Jackson, game over! The losing streak, over!
You know the stakes are always high when these two meet. The Cal-Slippery Rock rivalry has grown into one of the best the PSAC has to offer. Cal and Slippery Rock have been two of the most winningest programs in the state of Pennsylvania in the last decade, which only adds fuel to an already heated rivalry. 7 of the last 9 PSAC West titles have been won by these two teams. This game has been known to decide who would win the PSAC West. In 2013, the prize was a berth in the PSAC Championship. In the last meeting at Mahalik Thompson Stadium, Slippery Rock overwhelmed Cal en route to winning 35-17. 2 years earlier on Slippery Rock's homecoming, a black jerseyed Slippery Rock team dismantled Cal's offense again to win 17-3. Notice a pattern? Cal has lost the last 2 meetings in Slippery Rock and has struggled offensively in both games. 2009 was the last time Cal won at Slippery Rock, and in dominating fashion 44-7. The rivalry has also seen championship seasons being ruined. In 2012, Cal was looking to stamp themselves in the PSAC championship game. The Rock had other ideas as they knocked off Cal in a soaking rain. This set up Cal for a devastating loss to end all hopes at a PSAC title next week. Now let's go back to last season. This time, Slippery Rock came to Cal's homecoming game and was not treated very nicely as guests. The Vulcans hammered the Rock with an amazing display of offense and took advantage of a mistake-prone Rock offense. The stage this year is no different. Cal and the Rock is separated by 1 game in the PSAC West standings, and the winner looks to take control of the PSAC West moving forward. It is Slippery Rock's homecoming, which, as one man knows, the Rock fans will be out in full force Saturday.
We have tremendous support from the university committee, our student body, the Rock Rowdies, they're fantastic. Our local community supports us, the alumni supports us. We've led the conference in home attendance now for a number of years. So it's always exciting playing here at home in front of our own fans.
Once again, these rivals face with expectations from both fan bases higher than ever. Who will come out on top? Will Slippery Rock celebrate a successful homecoming, or will Cal crash the party? Did that get you hyped? Now it's time for the Hagee 6. Here are 3 games from both college football and the NFL that I feel will be the top games to watch this week. We start with college and in the Big Ten this week as undefeated Northwestern travels to Ann Arbor to take on Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. Since losing to Utah in Week 1, Michigan's defense has rose to the occasion, pitching 2 shutouts. At 7 o'clock, the Florida Gators look to build off their upset win over Ole Miss a week ago as they travel to Columbia to take on the upset-minded Missouri Tigers. Then the big game at 10, we see Cal, no, not our Cal Berkeley take on the Utah Utes in the battle of Pac-12 unbeatens. In the NFL this week, the big game is at 1 is the Seahawks traveling to Cincinnati looking to knock off the unbeaten Bengals. At 4:25, New England faces off against a struggling Cowboys team in Dallas. And then the last game to watch this week is the Monday night contest between the Steelers and the Chargers. So guys, that's football. But tonight, hockey starts. Well, hockey started yesterday, but most of the teams start tonight, including the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I'm really excited to get to see them because I didn't get to go to any Penguins games, I don't think, last year, but I did 2 years ago, and I actually went to the playoff game 2 years ago, and that was amazing because I had never gotten into hockey until 2 years ago. So I'm really excited about it this year to get to see what they can do.
Yeah, I like the Pens prospects into the season. I don't know if they're ready to win a Stanley Cup. I know on my radio show this week I said Montreal over Minnesota. You went Montreal as well over Anaheim, though, so we'll see how that all plays out.
Well, right minds think alike, but I think with the Penguins' talent, you know are capable of winning a Stanley Cup any season with that talent.
Yeah, if Phil Kessel can score 50, I think they'll be good. Well, thanks, Matt. That will do it for this week's edition of Newscenter.
Be sure to check out our YouTube channel at CUTV Newscenter.
Thanks for watching, and have a great weekend.